We thank them for their support so we can rent this beautiful venue. And young entrepreneurs get to share their story. And we have a group of volunteers that get paid really well to help bring you this. And we got Jason, we've got Mr. Charles behind the camera today. Where's Valley today? Where's she at? She's at our competition, yes. And we got Casey over here and Tom and myself. So if you ever like to get paid the good money we do and you want to help us out, we certainly would walk you through it. So let's give a nice warm welcome, a Daytona Beach welcome to Mrs. Kelly White with KW Digital.
Well, thank you for having me. I was excited about being here today. I am a social media strategist and an AI consultant. I also do websites, branding, and some corporate training. So before we get started, I thought I'd just talk a little bit about who I am. I live over in the Ocala area. I have offices in Ocala, the Villages, over here at Workspace Collective, one in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have clients all over the country and also in Europe. So I'm kind of all out there. My company is 4 years old. I grew up on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. I went to school and prep school on the West Side of Manhattan, so I am a New York City girl. I have 3 children who are just incredible. My son owns American AI Logistics Company. My other one is becoming a partner at Axel Partners. He does consulting. He just was the head consultant on the Omnicom merger, which was the largest media merger ever in history. He just finished that in January. And my daughter does software sales. She runs a sales department here in the States and in Australia. So those are my greatest achievements, my 3 kids. I was a single mom, so worked really hard to make that happen. I have 6 grandchildren, and they're kind of why I really started this. I wanted to show them that you're never too late to reinvent yourself. So I want to start with how I got here, why I do what I do, or how I got trained to do this. So in my late 50s, I decided I'm going to start my own company. And I was like everybody else, YouTube, you train, but I decided if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So I have my certification from UCF. I am certified to teach Google. I'm a trainer and educator to teach Google. I have my full meta stack, so certified in media buying, strategic strategy, digital marketing, media planning, and marketing science. And this one, I am actually getting my certification 1 week from today to be an AI consultant through MIT. So that's been a lot. That's probably the only class that ever made me cry. It was only 1 month, so very excited about that. So it's Agentic AI for organizational transformation. So I'm going to be a consultant for small to mid-sized businesses who really want to start incorporating AI into their businesses. So that's kind of who I am and why I do what I do. So let's just start here. Why do small to mid-sized businesses need social media? Oops, wrong button, sorry. Okay, let's look at the stats. 11 million people in Florida are on social media. Social media is the largest advertising market for small businesses. 58% of consumers discover businesses, especially small ones, on social media platforms. And 67% of consumers say social media significantly influences their purchasing decisions. And 98% of consumers search online before they purchase something. But the biggest reason, we live in a stalker community. I mean, the fact is not, social media doesn't work in all markets. But in this market, or in Central Florida, it absolutely does work because everybody's going to go look online to see what you're doing. And if you're not there, they're just going to go on to the next one and find somebody who does what you do that does have a social media presence. This has been proven. People have lost businesses saying, business, and they'll, why don't you come to us? And like, well, I couldn't find anything on social media. So people are looking, and it's all generations. It's not just the Zs and the millennials. So baby boomers is still a very fast-growing demographic on social media. So what do I do that's different? I mean, there are social media people out there everywhere these days, right? So what I do is I perform a deep dive on my businesses that come in. So I do a deep dive, I go in to see what they're doing, how they're performing, what their competitors are doing. I put together, like the chamber, I put together a 58-page dissertation on what other chambers are doing and what they're doing and how we can improve. That's the first thing I do for my clients, is show them where they are and where we can where we can go with their business. We're strategic in our creative. We do not use Canva templates, and if people are using Canva templates, just create it on your own. You want to look unique, you want to stand out, you have less than 3 seconds to catch somebody's attention, so you want to make sure your graphics are really, really unique. We never post direct from AI. So these days, if you look, there are so many AI posts all over social media right now. Number one, if you're using a free version of AI to create these posts, there is hidden code behind that, and it is the biggest mistake you can possibly make. And if you're going to use AI to create your images, use the paid version, period. Also, Meta is now, they're publicly saying they are forcing down the algorithms for those that are AI driven, right, or AI created. And LinkedIn already pushes everything out down that's AI driven. So if you're using just AI to create, you're just, it's a waste of time. They're beautiful, don't get me wrong, the AI products are beautiful, but you're losing traction on social platforms. And this has been announced in Forbes, this has been on TechStack, I mean, this has been, and MIT one is huge, like just don't. So for what I do, I push out over 2,000 posts a month. I have to use AI, but what I do, you know, when you're thinking about creative, sometimes you're just getting creative stunt. So yeah, I'll go create something on AI, but then I'll take it and take the ideas and recreate the whole thing and make it totally different and put it in InDesign or Canva or something like that. So it is not an AI post. But that's my biggest recommendation if you're doing your own. Don't just use the AI images, make sure that you recreate them on your own. Everything is SEO and AEO compliant, my content. So AEO is answer engine optimization. They're estimating that right now Google, when on search, is about 75.7% of all searches are Google. They're estimating by Q4 of 2027, AI will surpass that. Do I think that Google's going to let that happen? No, but I know AI is going to be up there. So, and AI is driven by answering questions. So I make sure things are written in an answering question type of way. I also believe in personality, so I write content on Myers-Briggs. There are so many different personalities out there. You can't just write your content for one type of personality. KPIs, numbers are crucial. If you're spending money, you want to make sure what you're doing is working, and I have reporting for all of my clients. My clients see high ROAS, which is return on advertising spend. We're true business partners, and we always answer upfront. Always, always, always. LT here is a client, she'll tell you that I answer the phone 7 days a week. And each of our clients have their own custom portal. I'm going to give you an example. So also what we do, unlike other social media people who just put it on Facebook or Instagram, with one click, we can do Instagram, Facebook Threads, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, your Google Business Profile, which is the most important page out there. If you are not posting on Google at least 3 to 5 times a week, you're losing organic search and rankings. TikTok, X, and Facebook groups are getting ready to go away. But all my clients, when they post, as long as they have the accounts, everything we do goes onto all those accounts. And this is an example of their content library. So this is the chamber. Everything that we've ever created will always be in this library. So in the event that they are ever hacked, which we hope never happens, but if they are, we can recreate the page in less than 48 hours and have everything. We just have to get their followers again. And then they have an option to see what's been posted or what's coming up and being posted. They have access to the calendar. We can also post 3 years out. So unlike Meta, where you have to do it within 28 days, we can go 3 years. And then if my clients want to do their own, so they can create here, we do have an AI option here for content. I don't use it, but if we have a client who needs something to get really get something out there quick and they're kind of confused what to say, This AI component here is written specifically just for social media. So here's some sample creative. This is what I do for the Daytona brand. It's just to show you how they look a little different. They don't look like Canva templates. This is a 5-star restaurant in Ocala. And anybody who's a Bucks fan, that's Martin Gramatica. He is a Super Bowl champion kicker. He is a client. He has an imaging center in the Villages. Just some other idea graphics. And then here we have Gloria. I put that up there. That was out there last week. So it's just, you have less than 3 seconds to catch somebody's attention, so I always make sure that they're vivid and vibrant. So AI, I think we talked about a little bit about AI already regarding images. Now, AI for writing content. That's really important too, but you can't take the content, if you go to Claude and go into chat, and you write the content, you still have to make it your own. It gives you great ideas. It gives you ideas that you won't come up with on your own. But there are also software programs out there where you can pull out what they write because the content's great, but then they can make it sound human or rewrite it yourself. So that's what's really important. There's also, there's so many different platforms and they do different things. So I have all of them and I use all of them. But I would, if you're going to do this, again, I would play around with the platforms and decide what works best for you and your business and then get a subscription to that. Okay, the important stuff, KPIs. So this is a client, literally had to do this report yesterday. The company was founded 5 months ago. Okay, so in the 5 months, their ROAS is 4.77, so they're making $4.77 per each dollar they spend. The company literally is brand new. So that's not bad. They've had on Facebook, which we started with zero followers, we have 157,000 impressions, 75,000 reach. Why that's important? So if this was neck and neck, I would say there's a problem. But the fact that what this is telling me is this 75,000 people are coming back to look at their posts again. And that's what you want. If this was 150,000 and that was 150,000, something was wrong. You want to make sure it's always about half. This way you know people are coming back to look. And that's when you know you're doing something right. So I want to show you a live report, just so you can take a look at what my clients receive. This is, let's see, wait a second. Okay, so the report's loading. So this is a restaurant that I do, I've done it for 3 years, so I do year over year. This is their end of the year report. So this is why my reporting is really, what it's showing is over 24 to 25, their impressions went up 1,700%. Their reaches went up 1,200%. You can look over here, everything is going up. This is what my reports, and this is all automatic, and we can pull them lifetime, anytime, you know, every day if you wanted to. And I do this because I want to make sure everything is in the green. This is social media, not everything is going to be in the green. There are going to be times when it tanks. It's just a matter of social media. So what I do when we go into the red, I call my clients and I'm like, we need to have a strategy session. But my goal is to always keep everything in the green. And again, my clients can pull this up on their own anytime they'd like. Just overall, the reactions, comments, shares, shows you how many posts we did, how many impressions we had, and so on. So this is my reporting. This is what makes me different than other social media companies, because my clients have access to this 24/7. And that's kind of it for my quick overview of what Kelly White Digital, or KW Digital, does. Any questions?
I'm gonna come now, I promise. Let's do how the other mic. Well, Kelly, that was awesome. Thank you so much. So, working in the AI world, you mentioned directly posting from AI into your social media feed. Does that mean you're actually having whatever AI platform you're working on that integrate with your social media, or are you just saying I'm just thinking you're
Pull
going
it
to
down.
copy and paste and drop it right in.
Don't copy and paste and pull it right in. If you're going to use it, put it into the platform, resave it as a JPEG. Oh, here's another thing, which I did not mention. Never, ever, ever, ever post anything that has JPEG 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, you're losing organic search all the way across the board. Make sure everything is specifically named. So if you're going to use an AI image, honestly, what I would do, but I do change them because you still have that hidden code a little bit behind it. Throw it into a Canva template, throw it into some other thing, rename it, retag it, and even if you just throw your own logo on top of it or something like that, then you're gonna, that AI issue is gonna decrease a bit. And now these days, if you haven't noticed, if you're posting your images directly from AI, like you download something from chat and you post it up, sometimes Meta's picking it up and it'll tell you, instead of posting from you, it says AI generated. When it's AI generated, Forbes has said that consumers you lose 60% of consumers' trust by posting only AI images. So yes, if you're going to use that, put it into a different platform and resave it. Great.
Lori McMullen, your Daytona Regional Chamber. She's fabulous, just wanted to make sure I said that. Amazing. And I have a question, because I know things change. I haven't managed social media since Hootsuite was a thing, so I know nothing anymore, basically. But back in the day, you know, in training, they would say, if you're going to be on LinkedIn and Facebook or whatever the platforms were, you had to vary the message because it would drive down your postings. Like somehow algorithms would know that. If you're using the same message across platforms. Has that changed now?
No, you can. But you can use the same message across all.
Yeah.
We use the same message. The only difference is like if we're posting through the platform here, if it has a link or a phone number, it will not post to Google. So we have to do one without the link and phone number for Google, but everything else, the message is fine.
That's cool.
Hi, great presentation. I got a little late because of traffic, but it was very good.
Thank you.
And I post every day on social media. My business is video networking. I'm trying to get the message out of the benefits of presenting on video and, you know, networking with video to expand the message beyond the room. So I put messages, I put videos out there every day, and I use Metricool. You know Metricool? Yeah. And
How are you performing?
what I know is I'm having a hard time getting people to come to my events, which I do events where I encourage people to network on video. That really is a big part of my business.
Are you sharing your videos to other platforms or like word of mouths and other groups like that?
I post to, of course, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok, and YouTube sometimes. And, you know,
So it helps. So that's basically your followers, right? One, I would throw some money into it and advertise it because you can advertise for $3 a day. It's $90 a month. It's super cheap to advertise, and you can reach a whole.
I have one on Facebook yet too.
Yeah.
I have a Facebook yet with a landing page. You know, I feel very confident in my idea, but I'm just not getting the traction that I would like. You know,
Start sharing, and there's a lot of local groups. There's like a Volusia Word of Mouth. There's a Daytona.
Well, Flagler, actually.
Okay, Flagler. Yeah, but there's Palm Coast Word of Mouth. There are a lot of word of mouths out there. Just start sharing it in there and see what happens there. While the groups are still active. I know groups are going away at some point.
Why are groups going away?
Because Meta doesn't make any money from it.
That's perfect.
There you go. But you don't know anything about
Hi Kelly Heath, Fractional Unit Marketing. I just wanted to say to everybody, I've referred people to Kelly and they're very, very, very happy. And the content is wonderful. It comes, and I know it's good because when I'm going through my feeds, a piece of content will come up from Who's Brew Coffee that I referred, and it always stops me and I look at it before I realize, oh, I know that person. And it's a really great piece of interactive content, so it's wonderful. And I probably mention you to people 2 or 3 times a month to say this is who that you need to talk to if you really want to do your social media properly. So
Appreciate it.
I wanted to ask you, you mentioned startups and everything that you're doing. You're obviously, I feel just looking at your service, you are a real corporate feel about you, that your clients could be very, very big. And so what I wanted to ask you is that where is your sweet spot? You've only got so many hours in the day. You've obviously you've got a lot of clients. I was staggered to find out how many you've got. You've got very efficient systems. But in 4 years, what does the future look like? How do you grow? How do you scale? Are you doing the old 80-20 where you're rejecting the unprofitable ones and trying to, how are you growing your business? What does the future look like?
I am actually in the process of that, the 80-20, yes, because I am growing. So the one thing that I do as far as creative is I have a team of graphic artists. They just happen to be women. Like, I didn't plan it, right? It just happened. But they're college students. They're either juniors, seniors in college, or they're getting their master's in digital marketing. And the reason why, one, it just happened to fall in my lap this way, but one, I'm helping them build their portfolios, right? But I'm also now, because, you know, I'm an Xer, you know, everybody in each generation, they have their own view of art. Art is very subjective. And the Zers, well, they're a little difficult to work with, sorry. But they're, you know, their aesthetic is different than mine. So I'm getting all points of views from all different age groups. And then I did have a child, Once she graduated, I had one of my graphic designers, when she graduated, she took what she did for me. She now lives in Milan and works for Tom Brown as a graphic designer. So to me, like that, one, I'm helping a future generation of digital marketers, but they're helping me in the creative, because I obviously can't create 2,000 posts alone on my end. You know, I just can't. I have just hired a full-time operations director, so she's managing the time and things like that. So I have 4 graphic designers right now. GA is graphic artists, and I'm, you know, ready to hire more when I'm ready. And because people are coming to me, the college kids are learning about me, and they're coming to me and asking me for work. And classmates from UCF see me online and call me up and ask me for work. So I can grow. I'm just taking it slowly, and very selective these days about who my clients are. If that makes sense.
I'm going to walk and talk. So one thing I find interesting what you said is you started this because you're wanting to prove something to your kids. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
So going back to make this point, what were your challenges of entering into this new world where people say, I'm too old for this, but clearly you're not. Clearly you grabbed it by the horns and owned it. So what were your challenges for that?
So when I first, maybe I should back up and kind of talk about how I started. If we have some time. Oh, are we late? We're good?
Yeah, you got time.
We have time.
Like 15 minutes.
So back in 2009, I worked for a company. I was doing marketing for a company called Red Vector. We did continuing education for architects, engineers, and contractors. And this Facebook thing, you know, to me, I had kids in college. It was just for the kids. But then they started allowing advertising. And at that point, we bought another company, and they did continuing education for hospice care workers. So the CEO comes up and he's like, figure out this Facebook thing. Go do an ad. Here's $350. Just go do an ad. So at that point, it was really easy. We could put a spreadsheet in of everybody whose CEUs were due in June. This was April. And it would match it. It doesn't do that anymore, but it did back then. And then I just created an ad, and I'm like, tell us why we should buy your mom a dozen roses for Mother's Day. Within a week, we had 900 applications. My sales floor made $42,000 within 10 days, and it cost me $5,000 in roses. That was my introduction to Facebook advertising. So I was like, wow, okay, this isn't so bad. Years later, when I moved over to Marcus and Millichap, and I handled the marketing and operations director for the Leisure Investment Properties Group, so we did golf courses and marinas. So that's different. If you're not a Club Corps, Arcus, or something like that, who's going to buy a golf course and marina? It's going to be somebody with a lot of money, and who's going to be passionate about it. That's when we started moving over to LinkedIn. So I started learning how LinkedIn works. A few years after that, I met my husband who lives up in Ocala, left South Tampa, moved up there, and I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? Sent my resume out to I think it was 12 brokers, real estate brokers, and I got 9 job offers. And then I became the director of corporate development for RE/MAX, and I implemented the social media program for 186 real estate agents. And then after that, everybody from in the villages and okay, like you need to store on your own, you need to store on your own. And that's kind of, I just decided to take the leap. As far as my kids, my family is very competitive, which is why my son has his master's from Cornell. So when I decided I was going to do the AI thing, I'm like, I'm going to MIT, so who went to the better school? So it's just kind of a family joke. But my kids are very supportive, but I really want to show my grandkids that you're never too old to start something new. I mean, I was in my late 50s, and doing Facebook, and that was an issue with some people in the Ocala market. Like, some people would go to my clients saying, she's so old, why would you let her do social media? My whole thing was like, okay, when were you trained? And where were you trained? Neither here or there. I overcame that, and my work overcame that. And then hiring in and bringing in other graphic artists has helped because, again, I am very clear, I like my aesthetic, but they bring in ideas, and I may not love it, but my clients will love it. So, you know, it's just bringing in all generations. But does that answer your question? Kind of? Yeah? Okay, there you go. I'm not sure. I tend to scroll off, so I apologize. Sean?
Okay,
Oh.
me first, Kelly.
Sorry.
Kelly, you're awesome. That was
Oh, you're awesome.
really, really great presentation. My question is AI letting people advertise in it yet? Or is that a thing, or is that a future thing?
It is definitely a future thing. It's slowly happening, but not quite there yet where I would invest money, no.
So what do you see in that? How would you leverage that in your position with your clients?
As we learn more and more comes through, we'll start implementing that. That it just, we're not there yet, so I haven't even really totally investigated that at this point. But it'll be here within the year. So we just have to take a look and see how it works. I know Google is starting with that, just not quite digging into that just yet.
Got it. Great job. Appreciate it.
All right, so I'm ready to launch a company,
Okay?
if I was. I got a great job.
I
love
know
it.
you do.
And I wanted to hire you to take it from start to everything. What would that cost look like?
Okay, so for example, the Water Boys, which we showed up there, okay? Because I had to put that together for the 5, like literally I got that email yesterday during BNI saying you need to put together a report by the end of the day. So I was like, thanks. Because I really didn't know what that looked like either. I can tell you what did they spend. I think they spent $6,600 so far, and that was I did a landing page, created their logo, did their social media. I do 5 posts a week, and we only just started advertising. So if you're looking at just from Facebook alone, they made $31,000 from Facebook, only Facebook, where they spent $6,000. So that's what they were making what, $471, $477, per $1 spent. So that was their initial investment. Things are going to change. I mean, it's only been 5 months, but that was with everything included. So the website, the logo, and the social media. You bet.
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Hi, Kelly. Casey Williams with Casey Williams Counseling and Consulting. Thank you so much for being here today. So I really appreciated your presentation and seeing all of the stats, and as you know, even as a therapist with feelings, I do love charts and numbers and all of that. So I can totally see the appeal and the extra mile that you go for your clients. I'm curious though, you know, it sounds like, you know, you obviously are credible and talented. You know, it sounds like you've got a great team behind you. But I'm curious, you know, currently, like, where's like a stuck point for you, or what are you trying to step into next? I'm curious to know what some of your challenges are looking like right now.
Yeah, so my challenges are, this is recorded now.
It's live. Millions of people are watching.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have a couple of challenges. One, there are some of my original clients when I was still like questioning myself that they're not paying my rate now, right? But it's like, it's loyalty to them. I mean, they helped me, but it's very time consuming. Some of them now, because of the economy, are just leaving on their own, which, you know, again, but they're very, very small companies. So that's a challenge. I always have a hard time saying no, so when companies come in and they're like, I can't afford you, and can you do for this? And I've learned now to say no. Now, because I taught the Boost class on AI at the Chamber in February, and then I did an AI class at the Business Symposium in May at the Chamber. So I really want to move into the AI consulting and helping. My class was basically talking about every single AI program and what they do and how to use it properly and which one's best for you. I want to get more, I want to build my business that way. And it's like, okay, so I have this certification now, like, now what do I do? So that's kind of where I'm stuck. I'm like, how do I mean, my social business is great. I'm like, how do I jump to that next level? And I'm kind of in that stuck point of, what does that look like? And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and again, just with your industry being impacted and continually.
It's going to change all the time.
Yes,
You have to stay educated.
And marketing isn't the only, obviously, as we all know, industry that's facing that. But to your point, yeah, there is a lot of shift, and I have noticed, and I've got a friend who owns a marketing agency down south, and is also noticing similar challenges of people are going to AI and thinking that they can do it themselves, and you know, technically, yes, they can, but at what cost?
Okay, well,
So-
I have an example on that. So the restaurant that I showed you, their annual report, they started doing, and I do post 7 days a week for them, but they started doing these extra posts because somebody's bored when it's slow in the restaurant. Oh, let's play with AI, right? But what's happening is their algorithms are going down. And I can see it, I'm watching it, because I pull these reports and I'm like, I'm in the red, I am never in the red. And then I go back to Facebook to see what they're doing, and when they're posting, it's saying AI posted. So I literally had the screenshot and send it to every single one of the managers and the owners saying, this is what's happening. I go, I want you to look at our reports until you start doing this. So that is a huge issue, and there are like my clients who are people who really can't afford social media. They're going to start doing it on their own, but it's not going to help them. It's going to continue to.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I would love to teach them. I can teach you, like, how do you take it out of that and clean it up?
Yeah,
So it's not-
and so that leads me to kind of a potential idea or way to sort of like slice back and offer different levels of your service. And of course, my first thought is, how do we balance that where it doesn't lead people away from using your service, and you know, you teach the man to fish, which we want to do, but to be able to consult and maybe offer for people that can't afford the full service, doing an audit, and here are some steps, and then they can pay for that.
I do that. I sell my portal. I have, I don't know, 10 to 15 clients who only use the portal, and I created their templates, right? I created like 5 to 7 templates, and then they do it on their own. So I do help them that way.
Sure.
And I have no problem, like, if they're just struggling creatively, like, I'll sit down and we can create the 7 templates, and then it's plug and play. It's really easy. And the portal will write it for you. So.
Yeah, and the only other thing, and then I will get off the mic, but yeah, no, I don't know. You never say never. Never say never. No, but and I don't know if this translates to your industry or not. So forgive me, but the idea too, if you're interested in expanding your team, I love that you have, you know, all women, but particularly,
It wasn't planned.
I know, yeah, but it's beautiful how that works out, right? You know, and so, you know, being able to tap into college-age students that need internship hours,
And
right?
it's paid.
So, right, sure. So great that it gets paid, but maybe that's a way where your clients that want to work with you but can't afford that, if there's a reduced cost for them to work with somebody who is
So-
less experienced.
I have a college student who literally wants to open up like a little branch. We are, like, it's Kelly White Digital, but I've changed it to KW Digital for things like that. So and this one is, he's a young man, and his initials are BS. So he is doing BS Digital, and he's going to North Florida. He has his own website that's going to be mirrored mine, and he's going to do that for like pizza parlors and skateboard parks. So it's kind of like a franchise, but not a franchise, but it's a partnership. Sure. So I do offer that if they want to go.
So as I walk over, if I'm hearing this correctly, it's not a challenge of you growing, it's a challenge of your capacity. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, and being very selective.
So you're at a point now, and there's this fantastic book called Growing Pains, which I suggest anybody who is an entrepreneur that is building a company, read this book, because at some point when you're successful, you're going to go from boutique business to corporate business, right? And that transition can be very difficult.
Scary.
Because why? You're giving up the reins. You're delegating, and it becomes very terrifying. I highly suggest you read that book if you've never read it. You're not in the boat alone.
It's scary. And I am at that teetering point where, and then I have to tell, like, what am I going to do?
I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years. I've been trying off, and I haven't really had success. But I finally came up with something that's viable now. It's a platform. It's a lead generation platform. It's powered by video networking, which we talked about. The fact that I've dumped all kinds of money into this thing, and I would love to make an investment to see it grow, but I'm cautioned by family members that, doing that is just like throwing good money into bad in a sense. It's like, I don't feel that way, but I have to be cautious. I want to do something like what you're referring to, but when's the right time, or like, what is it to faith,
For me to leave a very high-paying job to do this, it was the scariest thing ever. But what I learned from that is you never know who's watching. So I left a job, and again, I made a lot of money, right? And I left the job, and on March 3rd, 2022, at 8:45 in the morning, I put out a video saying, okay, I'm here, I'm going live, I'm starting my own business, blah, blah, blah. I had 5 clients by noon, I had 15 by the end of the day, and by the end of the week, and like, but I had over 1,000 views. Like, I'm like, I didn't even know, I mean, you have your 2,000 friends on Facebook, but people actually saw it and people hired me. Like that, I didn't know what my reputation was. Like, it was overwhelming. And I cried over that too because I was shocked. But you just have to take the leap. I mean, it was a friend of mine said, look, what happens? You have a roof over your head, you have food on the table. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Just, if you don't try it now, you're never gonna do it. So I did it, and then as far as my family's a little different because they keep pushing me to do more and do more and do more. Like my oldest is like, Mom, you need to franchise. Mom, you need to do this. Mom, you need to do that. I'm like, you need to lay off.
What would be what would be like a monthly plan, a monthly program that would work? The way you operate, like a monthly.
So it's your annual contract. However, you can break it. You can break it after 90 days. You have to do the 90 days because you don't really see results until 90 days. And then I just you can cancel at any time. I just need a 30-day notice because we do post 30 days in advance. So if something ever happened to me or whatever, I know that all my clients have post 30 days in advance, so they're covered. So we always work in 30 days.
So a 1-year contract. I don't understand that a 1-year contract is required,
but you can break. I mean, there's some really legal contracts where you have to be. I'm nicer about it right now. I'm nicer about it, and I get sometimes with the economy you can't afford it, and other times there are personality conflicts. Like sometimes there are just people who don't want to work with me, or I don't want to work with them. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. I'm not going to keep somebody into a contract for after 90 days if they don't want everything.
It sounds like you just said it's really put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
So if it's not working.
It's not working. See it.
why keep
And the
it?
door is always open. You want to leave, the door is always open unless you don't pay me.
Something else you said that I think really needs to become to a lot of people starting a company is that you didn't say it, but you said it, is you didn't have a plan B. It was either plan A or it was nothing. And I think that's so many people have that plan B, and plan A never works because plan B is there.
See, I always wanted to do it, but as a single mom, I had to have a paycheck. Like I was mom and dad to my kids. I always had to have a paycheck. I could never do it. Now my kids are successful. I was able to do it. And the mortgage is paid.
Even better.
Hey.
Kelly, I'm Paul, Montana AI, AI Business Consulting, focusing on voice. But yeah, what really intrigued me is how you scale this business and your plans for growth. The one thing I'm questioning now is your exit. Do you have a plan for an exit?
Okay, so somebody's asked me that recently. I'm like, okay, what would I do if I retired? I would spend way too much money on Amazon. So I don't at this point, and honestly, my daughter and daughter-in-laws, or my daughter-in-laws, I have one who's a stay-at-home mom at this point, so I'm thinking by the time the kids go to school, maybe she'll want to take it over, that type of thing. So I'm looking at that, but I'm not ready to retire. I'm just getting started. I'm getting ready to launch a podcast called The Untamed Chapter, because this is my untamed chapter. So, yeah, I'm not there yet.
The age of possibility.
Endless.
Well, guys, we have time for one more question. Is that anybody else, or are we gonna wrap it up today? Once, going twice. Oh,
Yeah.
all right,
Thank you,
one more
everyone.
time.
Over here.
Oh, we got one. Of course, we gotta. And the middle is the clapping started. Here you go, brother. Finish us on a high note.
So this is a knowledge question. When a person is looking into Facebook marketing, when would they be ready to start doing Facebook marketing versus they still have other stuff to set up before they're ready for that?
I do not allow any of my clients to do any advertising whatsoever until they have a minimum of 45 days of consistent branded marketing. I have clients that are like, I want to advertise now. I'm like, no. I mean, I just say no. They don't like it, but, or some of them go off and do it on their own. Not you, but Elton, JP, but,
What do you do at Brand Marketing?
sorry?
What do you do at Brand Marketing?
I'm talking, you have to have consistency on your Facebook page before you start spending money in ads. You don't want to go spend money in ads if you have just one or two posts and they look different and they're not branded. Because when they have an ad, they're going to go to your Facebook page and you want them to be able to scroll and see everything. Like, you're a knowledge broker for what you do. So you need to have all your knowledge, everything looks branded and cohesive, so everything is uniform, so they don't think they go brand new. So that's why I don't allow any of my clients to advertise for at least 45 days, so when somebody's scrolling, they don't look brand new. Like the same thing with that brand new company, I didn't let them advertise until April 1st. So, and it made a difference because then people scroll. So you have to have the consistency there first.
Well, that makes sense to me. So one more time, get everybody, Kelly Williams. Kelly, you probably don't know every single one of these. You've been here before, so you know what's coming. If you can ask one thing from your one MC community, what would it be? You can ask for two.
Okay, speaking opportunities, I'd love to get up and train, do some corporate training to help small, mid-sized businesses, learn about social media and also learn about which AI program is best for them. So that's one. And two, for the social media side of it, I'm looking for the owners or GMs of your favorite restaurant. My restaurants do amazing, and I would love to bring that over here. So the owner or GM of your favorite restaurant. No.
All right, guys, it's that time. Val's not here, but she still requires this. Everybody up front for the mandatory 1MC photo. Thank you.
Because I thought I was presenting that, and I ordered this, and